So, all right, let's get into this, the legal stuff about Stephen Stearns' pretrial hearing, which is next week.
It's a relatively new law, and they haven't tested the constitutionality yet. So if this defendant, Stephen Stearns, wanted to challenge the death penalty as it applies to the sex abuse, I think actually he may have a claim there, but the state is not seeking the death penalty for the sexual abuse, which perhaps is why they're going first. They think they've got him dead to rights on the sexual abuse. They're not seeking the death penalty. It's going to be easier and faster. Let's get that out of the way. And then when he's found guilty of that charge, they can use that as an aggravating factor to seek the death penalty in the murder case. So I think that's why they're going first with the sexual abuse.
Okay, interesting. Thank you for that, because that was a head scratcher. When I saw them thinking, what? Why aren't they going with the homicide case?
All right, so they're not going with the homicide case first. They're going with the CSAM first, and this happens 1 week from today, and that's why we're talking about everybody's in a tizzy. All all these motions are being filed, but not for this case. So I cannot wait to see what comes out of this case. But what hasn't come out is any motions, any charges for another person. Well, Maddie being pregnant, let's just say it that way. And I can't help the way Court TV talks. Unfortunately, I try to stay away from the MURDE. We know how to spell that word, and there's nothing I can do. So it is what it is. You guys have to do your part by liking and subscribing and sharing it to get the word out, because YouTube just doesn't like the real words, even though, that's how it is. All right, let's keep going. I want to get to the audios. I cannot wait to hear those with you
first. And we know that's what he's so fixated on. He's fixated, of course he is, on potentially getting the death penalty here. Do you think the motion his defense team has filed could have some teeth when it comes to attacking the Florida law that's currently on the books?
No, that is a reach, and it shows how desperate he is to avoid the death penalty, and that could give a little bit of satisfaction to those of us who think this guy is one of the worst of the worst, and the way he made Madeline suffer, allegedly, is just so horrific. It's hard to even put your head around it. And now we see him desperately scared of getting this death penalty. So there's a little bit of schadenfreude there, I think, in what's going on. But I don't think he's going to win on any of these claims. These aggravators have been around for a long time, since 1996, and they're used continuously in capital cases. I use them many times as a prosecutor, as a state attorney. So the fact that he's now saying that after so many years of this, 28 years plus, that this is all unconstitutional, that ain't going anywhere.
Dave, thank you for this. Is helpful to know going. We're getting ready for trial number 1 to start just in a couple of weeks, if you can believe it. I have an interview clip up.
Right? Bam, like you say. And that's what's going to happen in this trial. And we all, as the trial approaches and then the other one approaches and such, we're all such a tight-knit community. We'll all just have to either agree to disagree or be nice about the I told you so's, because we're going to hear more about what's happening, why, who, what, when, where, all that stuff. And the people that are speculating one way and the other people are speculating another, including myself. But I'm not going to come on there and say, told you so. I'm going to say, oh my goodness, we read the clues and we saw it. And then the next case, we know what to look for. All right, let's keep going.
I want to play for you now, Dave. This is from one of Madeline Soto's friends, and she's talking to investigators about how...
And they're only just going to play a clip, and then from the wonderful true crime, Plunder True Crime, we'll listen to those together, you guys. And I appreciate you so much. It's all happening fast, right? It's coming up on a year.
Madeline was wearing baggy clothing in the recent weeks before she vanished. And we know there's been a lot of speculation around the idea that she perhaps could have been pregnant. We know mom was questioned about that. So let's take a listen to what her friend said.
Did Maddie talk to you about if she was feeling ill or sick or anything like that?
No, but I did notice that she was wearing more baggy clothes than usual. Like, usually, I don't know if this is weird or anything. I didn't notice that. I'm a hairstyle person. But usually she'd wear hoodies that are baggy, not really that baggy. And then I noticed she started wearing more baggy clothes and more longer hoodies. I remember my friends did tell me, like, she did talk about her friends, like her stepdad. But it was only, like, good things.
Now, I wanted to take a break there because I think this is the first time I've said this on here. I've been hearing it over and over. My daughter loves baggy clothes, and that had nothing to do with it. So, Alexis, prayers to you about that, and for all of the children that have survivors that have gone through that. My daughter, and well, you guys have seen pictures of me and my daughter. I'm 4'11". She's right beneath my chin now, so she wears the same clothes as I do. So I wear, except of course I'm a lot thicker, we'll call it. I wear a large hoodie. I can wear medium, but I like large to move around, and she loves large hoodies and being baggy, and so do her little friends that are in 5th and 6th grade. They just like to wear that. So it could be a toss up. It could be that, but it also could be a nothing burger, right? Because they just want to be comfy. My daughter likes to, when she doesn't feel good, she'll put her hood over her and kind of, she has ADHD, so she gets really like overstimulated, and she just wants like her binky, my baby, you guys know. All right. Yeah, I'm a shorty. It's your birthday.
Only good things. Wow. Focusing in on just that part at the end there first. Dave, what's your reaction when you hear this child relate that to the officer?
That part shook me about only good things. Well, yeah, Madeline was a child, and she was sleeping in the same bed with Stephen Stearns. And, to think that maybe there was some sort of Stockholm syndrome there or something else, I mean, you can see that happening. It doesn't at all alleviate his culpability. In fact, it can make it worse because you see the control he had over her. This guy's in a whole lot of trouble. And he, I think, is going to be found guilty in both cases. And when he's given the death penalty, which I think is almost certain, I think extremely likely, the Florida courts are very conservative now, very pro-death penalty. So now this guy is dead to rights, metaphorically speaking.
Probably on both ways. And you know what? We still don't have a clear explanation because he had Maddie in that car that day, and then he went back that night with Jen's car. So, I mean, things are going to be coming out. We're not getting into the capital case yet. We're talking about the CSAM next week, and that's where it gets confusing and where we're going to get very upset when we start hearing court proceedings and we don't hear about all of the things that he's done allegedly. We only hear about some of them and what makes it into the jury, into the court system. So, and thank you guys. I appreciate you guys for trying your best to use the censored words. It's not my doing that I censor it, because trust me, when I first came onto YouTube, guns a-blazing, I did so many videos that got kicked back to me that I had to redo them, and ones that just didn't get into the algorithm because I came in like, I'm going to be a YouTuber that tells it how it like it is and use the words. Nope. YouTube said, no, you're not. And they stopped my production right away and even gave me big red warnings. Hey, you put that up again and your account's gone. So I appreciate you guys. Christina says, I wonder if Maddie was sold in the dark web of child trafficking underground. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt that all of those pictures were put in the dark web somewhere. I don't know much about that, but now the more I hear about it, I imagine it's important because it shows motive also would mean more than one life. Exactly. And that's what we're talking about today. And that's what we've been talking about. Let's keep going so we can get to the audio, because those kids' voices are so sweet, you guys. Like, oh, my goodness, it's just awful that this predator and the other one we just saw before, a tallow, couldn't even think about preying on a little child that you're supposed to want to help and make them flourish.
Dave, thank you for that. Tell me, when we think about whether Madeline was pregnant, we still don't have an answer to that. I'm wondering, is this something that perhaps the state is withholding until trial? Do you think we'll get an answer to this at trial? I guess maybe the best way to ask it is, could she have been, and we just don't know yet?